A suburban house in Texas just exposed a massive immigration fraud network. 5 fake companies, 50 H-1B visas, millions in fraudulent salaries, all traced back to one family home. But this is not an isolated case. Citizen journalists are uncovering these schemes nationwide, and what they're finding will make your blood boil. Now, this affects every American taxpayer funding these fraudulent operations through government programs. While you're working overtime to make ends meet, foreign nationals are gaming the H-1B system with fake companies collecting 6-figure salaries for jobs that don't exist. These aren't isolated incidents. They're part of a coordinated network that spans multiple states. The fraud is so widespread that 80% of the charges are coming from just one congressional district. Your tax dollars are being stolen, your job opportunities are being fraudulently claimed, and politicians are actively protecting these criminal operations. The systematic theft is happening in suburbs across America, hidden behind the facade of legitimate businesses. And with fraud networks this sophisticated, you do need to be prepared for what is coming. So let me ask you something. If the power went out tonight, if stores were empty tomorrow, would you be ready? Most people aren't. That's why I always recommend My Patriot Supply. And right now they've got a special deal on their 3-month emergency food kit. Save $100, but only while supplies last. Now, the kit gives you over 2,000 calories a day for 90 days. Real meals, not freeze-dried mush. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, even drinks and snacks, all packed into sturdy buckets, last up to 25 years. I've got mine. It's made right here in the USA. They've thought of everything. No MSG, no junk. Just food you can count on when it matters most. And listen, they've got fast, free shipping even. A 30-day return policy, even a disaster replacement guarantee. America's going to need some heroes very soon, so will you be one of them? Look, you already know what's coming. Why wait until the world falls apart to start protecting people? By then, it will be too late. Your window of opportunity will be closed and boarded up for good. So get the life-saving food your family needs and do it now. It lasts up to 25 years. Don't worry you're jumping the gun. The food you buy today will be ready to eat and delicious the moment things take a turn. So when disaster strikes, will your family be ready? Will they be eating 3 delicious meals a day? You'll be the hero if they are, if you make it happen. So do what I did. Go to preparewithgary.com right now. Preparewithgary.com. Get prepared and get peace of mind. Now back to the shocking fraud discoveries. This is where it gets really disturbing. When investigators started exposing the transportation fraud schemes worth millions of dollars, they faced violent threats. And the perpetrators aren't just stealing money. They're intimidating anyone who dares to investigate. Meanwhile, politicians are demanding ICE stop making arrests in districts where the fraud is most concentrated. They're literally protecting the criminals while your communities suffer the consequences. Eric Darty, Representative Mark Harris on the House floor calling out Republicans who hyped up Doge and Elon Musk 1 year ago, but aren't following through. Where's the enthusiasm now? Why are we not continuing to slash the fraud? We did it with USAID, NPR, and PBS, but
only a year ago, several in my party were hyping up DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency. I must ask, where's the enthusiasm now? Why are we not continuing to slash the waste, fraud, and abuse? We did it with USAID, NPR, and PBS. But listen, we can't stop there. While we're wielding the budget axe, let's be unequivocal about what should never receive another dime of taxpayer money.
Oh, the taxpayer money is just going out the door. This is the House floor call out about stalled fraud investigation, setting up perfectly for the massive transport fraud scheme that we are about to expose. Nick Shirley strikes again.
There were no transportation companies.
No, none.
This isn't about race. This isn't against religion. This is about fraud. We're fighting fraud here. We're not fighting a race.
Well, and this is what happens when you put a spotlight on fraud. The people who are benefiting become extremely violent, and the Somalis are the most violent people I have ever met in my whole life.
Because he couldn't answer the question. Where was the transportation company?
He wouldn't answer the question. All he did was make it about race and then issue threats.
Neither business was there or operating, and giving a very conservative estimate based off of David's numbers and other numbers online, it's fair to say each business is operating with an average of 20 vehicles and with a much lower and generous rate of $25 per trip. And with 10 alleged trips a day, each business is pulling an estimate of $1.3 million in gross revenue. And with those two locations alone, there's over $2.6 million in estimated fraud.
All right, we're going to the next location.
What's interesting, Nick, is that one of the places we just visited, the 617 Cedar Avenue South, that's for Dreamline Transportation. That's the address listed with the state of Minnesota. But the place that we're going right now is going to have vans that say Dreamline Transportation on them, but they haven't moved in months and months. You'll see they're covered with snow. There will be no tire tracks. And so why are they using this address? And all that was in there was a liquor store. And he told us to talk to the guy next door, and those were all just mailboxes. And then the guy next door said, go talk to him. I said, we just talked to him. Obviously, the cover-up, and you see how they all stick together, and it's all this intimidation, and thank God we had the security we did there, because that would have been bad.
Now we're outside of this transportation vehicle company right here.
Yeah, and so you can see these are the vans that say Dreamline. You can see the sticker on the window and the numbers on the rear. None of these vehicles have moved in 8 months. I've been taking date stamp photos. All these vehicles are in the exact same spot they were 8 months ago. And look, there's no tire tracks, so they haven't moved.
And this van as well, this is Dreamline. Dreamline was the location where we got chased out from the Somalis on 617 Cedar. And this is a vehicle from Dreamline that actually didn't even exist. It was a liquor store. And now it's here, and the vans haven't moved at all. Literally, no vans and no tire tracks anywhere. If these vans are being used to transport people, whether it be healthcare, childcare, there would be snow tracks. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 vehicles here. No snow tracks anywhere. These vehicles are not being used, and these transportation companies are making lots of money. Meanwhile, there's actually nothing to show for. Here's all of the vehicles right here.
All the vehicles. Look at them on your screen. Haven't moved at all. Transportation company where? To nowhere is where. The transport fraud headline is just the tip of the iceberg. Wait to see the rage building over the scams. NS Mashir. Don't let the door hit you in your scamming, grifting, fraud, leering ass. Leave now. Public anger boiling over because there's actual documented evidence of systemic fraud that demands immediate action. Ross Marine. Looks like arrests can begin right here. Documented immigration fraud. No need to wait. Start the perp walk now. Thank you for your attention to this matter. This call for arrest isn't just talk. We're seeing specific allegations tied to major political figures' district. Ilhan Omar enters the chat. She wants ICE out of Minneapolis because ICE is arresting her co-conspirators in the multi-billion-dollar fraud scheme. 80% of the fraud charges have come from District MN5. 80% of the fraud. 80% of the fraud from Ilhan Omar's district. Do you understand what is at stake here? and why she is going on the freshly rebranded MSNBC to scream victim, to point the finger at Orange Man Bad and his Nazi ICE agents. Let's see what she has to say here.
We want ICE out of our district. We want them out of our state. We want this terror to stop. The lives of people are being interrupted, and it is not justifiable for the president to target our state and the residents of the beautiful state of Minnesota this way.
Our beautiful state of fraud is what she meant. Omar's district connection explains everything about her desperate push to get ICE out of Minneapolis before more arrests can happen. Eric Doherty returns. Holy crap, more fraud. Citizen journalists find a single family home with 5 entities registered there, including a nonprofit in Frisco, Texas. 50 people approved through H-1B salaries, over $100,000 a year. It's fraud, and it's everywhere.
See how cute this house is in Frisco, Texas? It'd be perfect for a family. A suburban dream. There's actually 5 different businesses registered to this one house, ranging from a nonprofit to for-profits to a tech company. And you'll also be glad to know that there's over 50 people who've already been approved through the H-1B visa system to work for this company. And with salaries of over $100,000 a year through this company that's registered through the suburban house in Frisco, Texas, you'll wonder why you're working your regular 9-to-5 job. Unfortunately, this is already the second suburban house we've found that is registered to a bunch of different companies. Where are they getting their money? Where are they running their companies? Guess we'll just have to find out.
Oh, and we're going to find out. We are not stopping this investigation. This Texas discovery, what does it do? It proves the fraud is not isolated to Minnesota. It's a nationwide network operating in plain sight. The White House posting this. Minnesota fraudsters will be held accountable. Giving a nod to Nick Shirley. The videos from Nick Shirley have shed tremendous light on the situation of Minnesota, and the Department of Justice will continue to lead the effort to identify and prosecute the fraud. This is the image that the White House presented with that tweet. Minnesota fraud. To date, the Department of Justice has charged 98 total defendants in several Medicaid fraud and related case programs. 64 were convicted, pleas and trials. 85 of the charge were of Somali descent. The DOJ has issued over 1,750 subpoenas, executed over 130 search warrants, and conducted over 1,000 witness interviews. Oh, they're doing their homework, folks, because they're not going to let this slide. Now, the White House response clearly shows that this has reached the highest levels of government, setting up Trump's bombshell announcement. He'll be locking up all politicians involved with the massive fraud. He called out Ilhan Omar by name. This is what we voted for. This is exactly what we voted for. I'm going to pull that up for you because I need to see what the president had to say. Here it is.
He's so impassioned to do this properly. We intend to imprison any fraudster, politician, or public official involved in these sick plots to loot and pillage our country. Think of that Ilhan Omar. She lives in Somalia. They don't have a government. They don't have a military. They don't have police. They don't have anything. All they have is murder and robbing ships, bringing in ships, pirates. That's stopped. Same missile, ping. That's the end of them. It's amazing how that can stop corruption. Those missiles, they never miss, you know. The same one, exactly the same one. But think of it, she comes from a country with nothing, and she comes Attorney General for fraud. He's a fantastic young guy. He's so impassioned to do this properly. We intend to imprison any fraudster, politician, or public official.
Name. And that's the way it should be. Finally, Trump's direct call out of Omar by name puts maximum pressure on her, just as she's trying to defend ICE operation. ICE has not been able to produce any evidence that they're finding people who are undocumented who have committed any crimes.
They have not been able to tell us what is the purpose for this search. They haven't been able to produce any evidence that they are finding people who are undocumented, who have committed crimes. Almost every single person that they have information and shared information with us has been someone that has already been adjudicated and was already in prison. And so there's no way to justify what they are doing. It is unleashing complete terror on the residents of Minnesota.
Yeah. But we all know who's really unleashing terror on Minnesota. You can't hide behind the hijab forever, girl. The moment we moved to subpoena Ilhan Omar and her brother's immigration records, for years, serious questions have surrounded Omar's immigration history and alleged marriage fraud. Oversight exists for moments like this. No one is above the law.
Be recognized to make a motion.
Yes, go ahead.
I move that the committee issue a subpoena to the Department of Homeland Security and the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services for all records related to the immigration and naturalization of or any immigration benefit received by Ilhan Omar of Minnesota, Ahmed Abdi Salan Irsi, also known as Ahmed Aden, Ahmed Nur Saeed Elmi, and any members of Ilhan Omar's family.
Okay, another motion is made. The committee will hold this motion in abeyance until the end of today's hearing. The committee will now proceed with today's hearing.
Oh yeah, party's over, girl. You got the Homeland Security subpoena. Party is over. It's all coming down. You see, this is organized crime masquerading as immigration assistance. Fake nonprofits, phantom tech companies, fraudulent transportation businesses, all operating from suburban homes while processing millions in government payments. Journalists forced their hand. You see, the fraud networks exposed this week represent a tip of the iceberg, only the tip. Now, when a single house can harbor 5 fake companies processing 50 fraudulent visas, imagine what's happening in thousands of similar operations nationwide. These aren't victimless crimes. Every fraudulent visa takes an opportunity from a legal applicant. Every stolen dollar comes from your taxes. Every fake company undermines legitimate business. The violence directed at investigators proves how much money is at stake. Citizen journalists are doing the work government agencies refuse to do, but they need your support to keep going. So do you believe this fraud network extends far beyond what we've discovered so far? Let me know in the comments, and while you're there, check out the Next News merch shop.
The system controls information. Information control is power.
They don't want you to see this.
The truth only survives together. They don't want this. Share this now.